It was a quiet night in June of 2008 when Jessica Maddox tucked her baby into bed. She placed the baby monitor on the nightstand and whispered goodnight. The house was still, the glow of the crib light soft against the walls. Hours later, Jessica was gone. Her car sat untouched in the driveway. Her purse and phone remained on the kitchen counter. The monitor still crackled faintly beside the crib. But Jessica herself had vanished, leaving behind only silence. Jessica was 28 years old, a young mother living in a small Colorado town. Friends remembered her as warm, patient, and entirely devoted to her child. She had built the kind of life she had always wanted. But behind closed doors, things were not as calm as they seemed. Arguments with her husband had grown frequent. Neighbors noticed his possessiveness. Friends said she seemed withdrawn, her smile forced. To her sister, she had quietly confessed that she felt watched all the time. The weeks before her disappearance showed the strain. She stopped attending her mother's group. She turned down invitations to see friends. At home, her husband checked her phone, questioned her every errand, and even timed her trips to the grocery store. Jessica's world was shrinking, and on the night of June 12th, something finally snapped. At 10:30 that evening, she kissed her son, placed him gently in his crib, and switched on the baby monitor. By 11:15, the monitor went silent. When the morning came, her side of the bed was empty. Her car remained in the driveway, her belongings were untouched, and her baby slept peacefully where she had left him. It was as if she had simply walked out of her life. Police arrived quickly. At first, they suspected she had left voluntarily, but her family insisted she would never abandon her child. Detectives searched the home and the yard. Volunteers combed through fields and streams. They questioned the husband for hours, but he claimed he had been asleep the entire night. With no evidence to hold him, the case stalled. Weeks turned into years. Her family gathered on her birthday each year, holding candles in the dark, waiting for an answer that never came. Her sister refused to stop hoping, but with each passing year, Jessica's name slipped further down the list of unsolved files. 17 years later, her case was reopened under a cold case initiative. Advances in forensic technology allowed investigators to test evidence once thought useless. When they examined the baby monitor more closely, they discovered something chilling: a trace of blood in the fibers belonging to Jessica, and along with it, skin cells that matched her husband. The evidence told a story no one wanted to believe. Jessica had never left that house. Confronted with the findings, her husband's composure crumbled. He admitted what had happened that night. They had argued after she told him she wanted to leave. In what he called a moment of rage, he killed her. Then, while their child slept just feet away, he carried her body to his car and drove to a remote canyon 2 hours away. There, he left her in a place so isolated it went undiscovered until his own confession led authorities to it. In court, prosecutors described a jealous and controlling man whose obsession turned deadly. The defense tried to argue diminished capacity, but the jury saw through it. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. For Jessica's family, the verdict brought an end to years of unbearable waiting, but it was not the kind of closure they had prayed for. Her son, now grown, had to face the truth that the father who raised him had taken his mother's life. The case left a scar on the community. Neighbors who once saw a happy young couple now looked back on the warning signs they had missed. The story became a reminder that danger often doesn't come from strangers, but from the people closest to us. 17 years of silence ended in a canyon grave. The baby monitor that once carried the soft cries of a child had been the silent witness to Jessica's last night alive. If the story moved you, take a moment to subscribe. Each case we share helps keep the memory of victims alive and reminds us of the dangers hidden behind closed doors.